Okay, this is Tgmradio representing for POR, the power of reggae. And we say, we play what we want to play. Now, I like it. Do you like it? Ease out.
The legendary Carlton Livingston. Introduce yourself for the listeners.
Carlton Livingston. It's one of them names my grandmother gave me. It was kind of long. Carlton Washington Livingston. Pure T-O-N at the end.
Okay. Now, we got a lot to get into tonight. I know you're here promoting new music, but before we get to that, the listeners got a chance to hear some of your biggest records. A little while ago, shout out to Johnny, spinning the records. I'd just like to touch on you becoming the legend that you are, where it began. The humble beginnings of Mr. Carlton Livingston. When did you realize that you had a gift for music, and when did you start working on it?
It took me quite a while. It was like when I was in my 40s, I realized it. It took me many years, because what it is that I just love music, and I came from a musical background. You know, my mother used to play the organ in the church, and my sisters, they're into music, and I just find myself into music, and I got the opportunity to start record, and I just did it out of fun. Plus, I love to write, so 99.9% of my stuff that I recorded is I've written them, so it's just basically, I just got into it I would say by accident.
Okay. Now, a lot of the artists that we interviewed here in the reggae genre, they similar stories. Started out parents, the church, performing in the area. How did you actually start performing music once you realized that you had a gift for music, or once someone else recognized it? How did you start out performing?
Well, I was going to Trenchtown Comprehensive High School, and my good friend, he passed away a couple years ago, Doyle from the group named Knowledge. I live in Eastern Kingston, Dunkirk, Rockford area. And when I was going to Trenchtown, usually he took me under his wing, basically. He took me down to see Bob Marley down in the big yard, or Riemann, all those places, and then after a while, it was like, let's form a group. And, we were practicing at Trenchtown Comprehensive High School. But then after leaving school, kind of lost interest. Not really lost interest. I wasn't really interested in music. I really wasn't. My friends, are the ones that really brought me along, because I didn't like to hear my voice. It took me years to really listen to myself. So I got the opportunity by this guy named Tony Walcott. He was the first person actually playing dubs in dancehall, and he had a connection with Sir Coxsone. So he basically heard me singing one night, took me on his wing, Ranger, Polly Roots, a couple of artists from Eastern Kingston, and he took me up to Coxsone one Sunday morning. I did 2 recordings. Then he took me to Channel 1. I did like 2 recordings. And while I was there, this guy named Leon Simoy heard me recording 2 songs, and it was like, come do some work for me. So I started doing work for Leon, and it just progressed after that.
Okay. Before you go any further, the friend that you had that was playing the dubs, this is a sound system, and you said Lone Ranger was on the lawn, Buddy Roots. What was that sound system name, if you remember?
Sound system was Soul Express.
Okay, Soul
Express.
Okay, so your first venture into the music was actually performing on sound system in the dance.
Oh yeah.
Perfect, how it's supposed to. Okay, so you went to the studio, you started recording, you caught the ear of other producers.
Yes.
What was that first record you produced, and what was your reaction the first time you were able to hear the record actually play out in a dance hall or maybe on the radio?
The first recording was song for Studio One named Why. No, 2000 years, sorry. The first recording I did for Channel One was a tune named Tale of Two Cities.
One of my favorites.
And I recorded it and didn't pay it any mind. And it was like a couple months after that, Jojo called me from my royalties, and I was like, ooh. I mean, there was money in it, but that was all it was. It's just that there was money, but what it did was open a lot of doors for me. Because after that song was released, and I did some recordings for Tree Seeker, which was the first guy that, he said to me, come do an album, and I ended up doing an album for him. And that was just the start. That was just the start of everything else in my career.
Okay, so you immediately started voicing for big producers from what you've said so far,
yeah.
Channel One, Cox. Okay, so now with the power of those producers behind you, those labels behind you, when were you able to actually leave the island of Jamaica and start touring and start seeing the world as an artist?
Well, basically after I did the recording for Cox and Channel One, my friend Robbie Shakespeare kind of took me under his wing too with Slide, and because I started out with Robbie them just laying tracks in the studio, and like I have a song named Tricks. If you listen to Tricks, it was like just 2 verses. I was just singing it over and over, and Robbie was like every day, come voice the song over, and I refused to voice the song over because I didn't like the song. And he said to me, okay. So he didn't pay me any mind, but then after that I started to go around them, and I did like about album and a half a Taxi record, but a lot of them have been released. But after recording Trying to the Jungle, Please Mr. DJ for You Brown, and Rumors, after Rumors, it was like about 1981, I came on tour, and most of my family lived in America, so when I came, I just stayed and got my papers and stuff like that. And
you migrated to the US.
Yeah, and after that I started to tour.
Okay. Well, I guess you were ahead of your time with them, because a lot of the artists, they realized later on migrating to the US was able to further their career. I guess you were able to pinpoint that having family here already.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. Apart from the US, Europe, London, when did you first get your chance to fly overseas and see those places?
Well, I was here for quite a while, and after I got everything settled in, I kind of paused the music. Basically, I got married, stuff like that, started a family. I was like, But that time I lived down in Maryland, and I remember one night I got a strange phone call, and it was, after years I've not been anything. Actually, I was recording for Cox all through those years. Like Sunday morning, I'd drive up to New York on Saturdays, voice 4 songs for Coxon, because after a while I realized I started coming to church. I did like about 50 to 60 tracks for Studio Ones, and it's like about 4 releases, something like that. I mean, I have a huge catalog at Studio One, because what it was that Sir God gave me the opportunity to record. I could go there, pick rhythms, and voice them. But then after settling down, my daughter was born, and I got married, family life and stuff like that. I got a call one day, and it was a Japanese song called me. Can't remember the name off the top of my head. And they said, I want some dubs. I was like, So I ended up doing some dubs for them. Then after that, a couple of years, I got a call from Europe, the agent, and I started touring Europe. I toured Europe like for about 12 years continuously, 3 times a year, 2 times a year, and then it just opened a lot of doors for me, touring. So it was great.
Okay, what I realized from listening to your music and now from being able to speak to you is that you once again got the opportunity to work with the top producers in the game. Not only did you get that opportunity, but you also created great music. Your records, the ones we've mentioned so far, they're legendary. So I understand that call from the Japanese sound. Now, your career and you taking those breaks, but also being able to create great music, do you think that has something to do with your longevity, not being on the scene, but still being in demand as an artist?
Yeah, because I remember a couple years ago, someone said to me, a very good friend said to me, you know, you need to do this and you need to do that and let people know you. And I said to them, you know, funny, that's not my plan. I am the type of person, I'm a Virgo, right? I'm a Virgo and I just like
Virgos!
be by myself. But it was deliberately done, you know, the way I managed my career. And I am not out in the limelight. I'm just enough for people to see me, hear me, because I always figure I let my work do the talking. So living in Maryland is basically bush. I call it bush because I could get up, like winter time I get up and I go see deer and stuff outside. So it's basically bush. It's like where I live, I have one bar on my phone.
Country.
Yeah, country, because the folks that live around here don't want a cell tower. I could get text everything, but phone calls is weird.
Perfect.
But for me, the solitude was for me to write. You know, people say, you know, you sing some good song. I'm a writer. I just love to write.
Couple questions. Let me stop you on because I thought about this before the interview, and you're now expressing that your love for writing the music. A couple of my favorite records. 100 Weight. The inspiration behind that song, was it a real life situation or was it just something that you had in your head and you put pen to paper?
Real life. Most of my stuff that I write is real. Sometimes it's third party, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's people, sometimes it's experience. Like when you read a Colorweed was like, before I lived in Maryland, I used to go to DC enough because I met a lot of friends down there. And I remember I went to this guy's house one night and after a dance and he said, come let me show you something. And he took me downstairs and there was like this big, humongous trash heap of, you know the trash bag they use in housing?
Mm-hmm.
Big trash. And he said to me, this just come in. And I was like, yeah. And I said, he told me where it's coming from. And I said, I want you to get a Colorweed coming from down south. That was Florida. And then me and July was working on an album. And I came back to New York and I heard the track and I just fit it on the track and that was it. That was it.
Okay. So now, very reclusive in your career, you got the call from the sound systems. I hear your ducklings and a lot of dances still to this day. But now you're back on the scene once again. What's your plans now that you're returning to the scene again to give people great music?
Well, I plan to go back on tour because I came off the road like about 8 years now. I've been on the road. Actually, I've been to Europe like in about 8 years. I just came back from Japan. I did a 2-week tour in Japan. But my plan is to go back on the road touring because I'm always recording. The opportunity always comes for recording. And because I write a lot, I have a lot of stuff.
Do you write for other artists as well?
Not really. It's just like, for instance, a couple of my songs have been, you know, redone by other artists like Sanchez. I write when I was running a record company, and I wrote a couple of songs like from Gregory Dennis, and those are the only two persons I really get up and I write stuff for, but like other stuff, people get up and record like Carl Mix or About My Love and stuff like that. So I don't really write for people, but my songs have been re-recorded by other folks.
How was it working with the cool ruler, Reggae?
Gregory, there's just one word to describe Gregory: unique. He's just unique, and you know, it's Gregory's situation is kind of weird, but it worked out okay because after a while we become friends, very good friends. Because when he come to DC, he could always call me, you know, and I get to know him, stuff like that. And then the company that I was with, we did an album with him, one with Dennis Brown, and I had the opportunity to produce a couple of songs on the album. And the contract I had with the company, like I had to write at least 2 songs for any artist they're working for. So I wrote like about 2 songs for Gregory, and it was pretty good. It was nice, you know, it was nice.
Okay, I have a couple more questions about some other legendary artists that you work with, but what we're going to do is we're going to get into some music now at this point in time. We have some new music from you. We want to get the listeners up to speed with it. Power Reggae Radio, the legendary Carlton Livingston. He's here. We're going to give you some more new music, well, some new music. We gave you hits before. Before we get to that, one other song that I wanted to ask you about. Rumors. The Rumors record. There's a version with Shabba Ranks. Did you actually work with Shabba Ranks, or was that a re-recorded record where Shabba Ranks took your song and re-recorded it?
No.
How did that record come about?
It came about a couple of years. As I said, I was living down in Maryland, and I got a call from Philip Smart, and Philip Smart was like, Bobby Digital want to re-record Rumors, and I was like, yeah. So I spoke to Bobby and made an agreement. So I came up and I put on the vocal tracks. But the story was that it wasn't Shabba who was supposed to put the DJ on, it was Josie Wales. But I don't know when I went with him and Bobby. But Shabba was in the studio, and when Shabba heard it, he was down in the studio in the basement. He came upstairs and it was like, the first time meeting Shabba. I heard about him, but never met him. And he said to Bobby, Bobby, I have to put on vocals on this song. Bobby said, okay, go inside here. And after I put on my vocals, he went inside and put on his vocals, and they said the rest is history.
History. Big record. Once again, Power Reggae Radio, we're going to give you some new music from the artists. It's a pleasure speaking to you so far. We're going to get back into this interview. But at this point in time, Johnny got some new records for you.
I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running for my life.
Brand new music from the legendary Carlton Livingston. Whoa. Before we went to the break, we spoke about the Rumors record, and it was originally supposed to be Josie on that record.
Yeah.
The first record we played, Running for My Life, features Josie.
No.
Is that Josie on the record?
Ranger.
Ranger, right, okay. Featuring Long Ranger. Similar style, so I got caught up. Wicked record. The second one was Bridge of Life.
Yes.
What I noticed about you is your voice hasn't changed. I know a lot of artists had that problem throughout the years and it diminished their careers, but yours sounds like Hot Summer, Cold Winter, those records. You still have that voice, and that's a blessing. The last record was my favorite. Tell us a little bit about that last record we just played.
That record, He Never Knew, I started writing that song like about 10 years ago. And it was recorded like about 2 years ago. But I started it 10 years ago. It was just an incident that happened that made me be aware that I was black, and living in Jamaica, I know there's discrimination and stuff in Jamaica, but I never really experienced it, you know, like some people. But anything happened, and then the first time in my life I realized that I'm black. In the sense that other people look at it the way they're looking at it. So I start writing, I just jot it down, but then when the guy sent me the rhythm and I start to write, there was a lot of that stuff going around with people's identity because it depends on how long you live in America. Like, I'm here like 35 years. I remember at one time, I said, well, go back on your banana boat and, you know, your pants short and over derogatory stuff, you know, as West Indian. So I just went back in and find those stuff and write the song because it was basically, part of the song was about me. Because after all these years, you know, incident happened, I was like, damn, I'm black. Because I never look at myself from a color point of view. I just me. You know, I'm a person. It had nothing with my color. But then with the incident, I was like, damn, I'm black. You know? But I've always accepted that I'm black. But I had to like, I'm black because somebody said something to me and...
Black in America.
Yeah, black in America, exactly.
Okay, so with the new music you're putting together now, you're finally releasing new music. Is this a total body of work, an LP we can look forward to, or is it just singles you're working with?
Most of it is single. Actually, the first two songs, the reason why I put them as new is that they have been released years ago, but what happened is that they're putting it back on vinyl.
Oh,
okay. Nice. So I'm basically starting to re-promote it because like the first song, Run For My Life, we did that song live when we were on tour, and it's in the movie Paris. It's like about probably 3-4 seconds in the movie Paris, because this record label I work for in Europe, they have connections, and when it first came out, some guys heard it and they put it in the movie Paris, and you know, the most recorded all these years, financially, that's one of the best, that song. And it took me over 40 years for me to really look at it that way. That financially it was one of the best things because you know, my synchronizing rights and all that stuff was
done properly.
Yeah,
that movie money different.
Yeah, because I own the publishing to all of my songs.
Beautiful.
Only one song I have an issue with, and it's been going on for years because of not really bad management, but people in the business that I record for. Not say go behind my back, but they understand the process of it, of doing certain things. So I have one issue with a song out there, but the rest of my songs I own them. I have my own publishing company. I set it up from early. So my catalog, anything I write, I own.
Nice.
And anybody I record for, they understand that. I mean, sometimes you work with a producer, you give a producer a percentage, but basically, I own all my stuff. Because I learned early in the business, it's a business. And I learned early it was a business. So what I did was set up a business to keep it going. So
ahead of your time.
Yeah, so basically because what it is that my friend always said, music don't have any pension, you have to make your own pension in music. So I look about my publishing and stuff like that. And,
nice.
Okay. Seeing that you have a keen business sense, before we tune out, the new era of social media and being able to market yourself, where can your fans and the listeners find Carlton Livingston online, the authentic pages that they can see, whether it's Instagram, Facebook?
Well, on Facebook it's Carlton Livingston. Instagram, it's Carlton Livingston. Twitter, it's 100 pound of cali weed. I mean, a couple of social media, but you know, once you type in Carlton Livingston, you'll find, you know, anything you find basically on social media, I run it. You know, or my daughter, you know, when she finds time, she'll do it. But anything you find on social media, it's my stuff, me personally.
Sorry, Maddie. Is your daughter following in your footsteps?
No.
Okay.
No, I never encourage my children to do music.
Okay.
Because it's brutal, you know, and I believe that they choose the path that they want to go. So.
But had she chosen that path, you would have assisted her.
Still? she will do the paperwork and stuff like that, but she's not into music. When she was younger, she was like, Daddy, I want to play the keyboard, and I bought her all the stuff. But then after a while, she was like, my son is the same thing. He's not interested. They do their own thing.
Okay.
I learned growing up. My mother encouraged me in music, and that's all. My daughter, she loves to teach. You know, she teaches kindergarten, and you know, she does stuff like that, and that's what she loves. So I don't see them doing music. So maybe at the end, I'm probably the last person to find. I mean, hopefully they'll do it, but for right now, they're not really interested.
Okay, with new music or rebranded music coming back out now, you said you're ready to go back on the road. So can the fans look forward for upcoming shows, whether it's in the US or Europe? What do you have on?
Well, I have stuff putting together for the winter in Europe, and it's like about 10 to 12 shows in between France, Germany, and you know, other places. In the US, I haven't really got any. I just probably get up on, if somebody calls me, like, I mostly work on the West Coast. I'm on the West Coast most of the time.
Makes sense.
So I am out that side work, but otherwise than that, I'm just recording, you know.
Okay, what we're gonna do before we tune out is we're gonna give the fans, the listeners, the people who are excited that Carlton is on his way to Europe later this year. We're gonna give them a little preview of the artist and how he sounds live. That voice, once again, it's a blessing that from day one to now, pristine, sounds the same. So bless the listeners with the voice once again.
Trotting through the jungle with Johnny C. Land, having no fear of no Babylon man. If you should hear something about me, come tell it to me, come tell it to me. Have you ever heard about my love? She packed her things and walked out on me. Don't follow rumors, don't follow rumors. It will tear us apart.
Hits after hits. Legendary Mr. Carlton Livingston. Anything you want to say to your fans?
Now, big up all my fans, and as I said, social media just Carlton Livingston.
Yeah, man.
Big ups.
Power
Come off ready, I say.
PowerRadio.com.
Yep.
Stay tuned, more to come.